of those days, and we're moving forward. It's one of those days, and we're gonna rise up, rise up. It's one of those days. We're gonna reach for each other. It's one of those days. We're rising up, we're rising up, we're rising up. We're gonna just lift up Dottie right now, our beautiful Reverend Dottie. We're gonna lift her up and just honor her prayers, her energy, and just wrap her around in a blanket of healing and comfort and stability and just pure love. We're just going to reach out and give her that pure love that just will comfort her. And you know, Dottie is a very delicate person. She's so spiritual. She's so sensitive that we'll do it very gently and softly, but that it does its work. Our healing does its work with our wonderful Dottie. And
Thank you.
we just dedicate this entire service to her. We'll light the candle, and I got us a soothing color. I don't know
I know
if you can see it.
it matches your top.
I wasn't aware of that when I did it, but I was thinking for our wonderful.
That looks like kind of looks like a bee too. Also, the design.
Oh
A
my
bee too.
gosh. It
Bee to
does
bee.
look like a bee, doesn't it?
Maybe a butterfly. Huh?
Or a butterfly. You know, all of those wonderful healing creatures. You know, we'll just
Yeah.
light this. And for any of you that are going through difficult, troubling times, or any of you that are, you know, struggling physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, this is a calming, soothing energy that we can give to each other when we gather together in this circle. And so each and every one of you, you know, thank you. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all that you bring and all that you give, you know, to our entire community, each one of you. Welcome, Ms. Lauren. Yay, I'm so glad you're here.
And Laura's here too. Laura.
Yes, Lauren is here. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, and then Maria and Milan says greetings from um Hilo. So
Yep, they're in Hilo getting ready to go to the airport, and they took the time to come and be with us.
thank you so much for doing that, you guys.
So it's
Appreciate it.
pretty early. It's 7 a.m. in their
Yeah.
time. And so, you know, we dedicate this to our wonderful Dottie, and also to our beautiful Corky, who is taking care of our wonderful Dottie.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
And I want to just make an announcement about our speakers series that is coming up. I'm trying to get the so you can see the little candle in there. And our speaker series is going to be done by our wonderful West Coast Eileen, and she's going to give us the first step in Qigong. And if you've never experienced Qigong, you've got to come Tuesday night, because it is incredible, and she does an amazing job with presenting it. So please join us.
Can I tell the experience that I had when I first learned Qigong? I mean, this is a room with at least like 60 people in it.
Wow.
And do you remember? I mean, we were over at the Billy DeFrank Center, and this new person had come from Taiwan or someplace to teach us about this brand new thing, brand new, only centuries old. But anyway, and so we had there could have been 80 people there. I mean, the room was a big ballroom, and it was packed.
Yeah.
And so he was talking to us, and it was a 2-day thing. So talking, and then he lined us up. And so there were like 20 people in each line. And he says, now I'm going to go like this. I mean, he had to have an interpreter. He didn't even speak English. And he said he's going to go like this. And everybody was going to fall down in that line. And so I was like, oh, you know, I'm a hypnotherapist. I know how to protect myself from this kind of stuff. But I tell you, when he came to our line and he did that, I could feel myself. I was like, no, I don't want to. And, you know, I very gently let myself down, but I couldn't help it. You know, it's just so it's like, I mean, not that's just a demonstration, but that's how it can heal your body. It can do distance stuff. I really truly believe in Qigong 100%. So, oh, I
And
guess I raised my hand. Oh,
yes, you did. I'm very proud of you,
how
Reverend
cute of
Joan.
me.
Yes, absolutely.
But
And
somebody else had, who else had their hand? Oh, Joan?
yes,
Oh, I
Arlene.
wanted to talk about Brigadoon, which is a musical theater that's coming up, and I'm going on May 24th, which is the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. And if you want to join, it's South Bay Musical Theater in Saratoga. That's relatively inexpensive, and it's a community theater, and it's a lot of fun. And
Beautiful.
the Brigadoon music is absolutely wonderful.
It really is. It's an
So
incredible musical.
let's have a party, folks.
I love
Love a
it.
party.
Yeah,
Party.
Brigadoon.
Hey.
It's very uplifting. The
Yeah,
story is very uplifting too. That's
the love
great.
story.
It is. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful one. Thank you, Reverend Joan. All righty, my friends.
Oh, and
Any
also,
other? Oh,
yeah,
I want. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say I'm going to send out the thing so that you can register for the Tuesday night talk. I found where Corey had sent it, and so I'm going to make sure that after when we get done with this, I'm going to send it out to everybody so that you can register for Tuesday night's class. And it's so powerful. Please, if you can, please join us Tuesday night.
Beautiful.
I'm sorry.
Beautiful.
Okay.
No, absolutely. That's wonderful. And does anyone had a birthday? I'm looking at you, Joan.
She's surprised because it was what on the
No, I
first.
had my birthday on the 24th.
Right.
She's
Any,
well into her
she's
90.
well into her birthday. Okay. Anybody else
Yes,
have a birthday?
I'm really 90.
I love it. Yay!
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Any other birthdays, my friends? Okay. Dottie is right. I guess we
Right
don't know.
again.
Right
Wait till
again.
August,
Exactly.
September. We'll have a lot then.
We will, exactly. Well, I think the Geminis we have a lot
Yes,
of
June as
Geminis
well.
in the
Yeah.
house. So June
Cancers.
and Cancers. Yes,
Yep.
ma'am. Yes, absolutely. So once we hit the summertime, we'll be good.
Yeah. We'll be
So
birthday rich.
exactly. So I want to thank our beloved Annie, Reverend Annie, for leading us in an opening prayer. And thank you, all the rest of you who I've called, left pitiful messages. Thank you, Reverend Annie, for saying yes.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Ah, let's all take a moment to get centered. So let's close our eyes and let's take a nice deep breath in through our nose, breathing in love, light, energy, strength, and vulnerability. Hold on to that. We know that there are positive energies that come from all of this. Just hold it for another second, and then we're going to breathe out. Ah, and
Ah,
just release
Ah,
everything. Release every bit of everything that is bothering you, that is blessing you. Just let it go because you're going to spread it. Every time you breathe, you spread that energy, you spread the love, spread the joy, you spread it all. Let's take another deep breath in and breathe out.
ah.
As we call upon what I call the infinite almighty golden white light, our mother, father, God, and creator, all the same, all encompassing, all surrounding, all within. Wrap us in your loving arms. Let us feel your joyous, beautiful love as you hold on to each and every one of us, giving us all the strength to carry on with everything that is going on in this world today. We know that as we gather together, we put together our own energies, our own life, our own love, and we hand it in trust being very vulnerable to what's going on, we hand that trust over to you, dear Creator, dear Mother, Father, God. We know that you take it and you incorporate it into an energy that blesses us in a way that brings us the strength to carry forward no matter what is happening. As we bring about healing feelings, healing love, we know that it is you, Creator, that is holding this for us, spreading it for us, that is bringing us this beautiful light of day. Let us be vulnerable enough to trust and trust in your love, because vulnerability is not weakness. Vulnerability is the feeling of opening our hearts and being authentic, being true to ourselves, being true to you. And we know that you take that and you help us build a love together. So as we all virtually hold hands, each of us, we're holding hands and creating a strength and an energy that is love, that is a blessing for the day, that is a blessing for being together, whether we are physically together or not, because we are always, always together, even when we are not gathered here on this Zoom meeting. We are together. We just breathe in that love, just breathe in the love of the Creator, breathe out anything that is not love, always a sigh. And we say, thank you, thank you, thank you for the beginning of this day as we start off on a good foot with lots of healing energy for our beloved Dottie, for all of those that are in need right now, and for all of those to continue. Yesterday we showed with the people that marched yesterday. It was a solidarity. We are a solidarity. Creator, you have our backs. You have a day starting in beauty, love, joy, friendship. And we are so grateful. We say thank you, and thank you. And so it is. Blessed be.
So it is. Thank you.
And so it is. That was beautiful. And I just invite us to breathe it in one more time about how we, as a solid group, can create that safe place for all of us to share our vulnerable selves, which is kind of the foundation of our strength. Thank you so much, Annie.
If I can share something really quickly,
Sure.
because I'm feeling very vulnerable
Yeah.
today and yesterday.
Yeah.
I've spoken of my good friend Sue, and she's been back in the hospital again. Can't get her swelling to go down. Her that they believe that she might be too late to be approved for any kind of a lung transplant, and started being seen with the idea of planning her end of life. And this is a friend I've known for over 20 years. So please, if you could please just put Sue in your prayers and bring her some comfort during this time of vulnerability. So blessed and so grateful. She lives in Seattle, that I'm going to be in Seattle next week, and I purposely planned 3 days to go to a one evening show so that I could have time to visit with her. So I'm so grateful to go spend some of her last moments with her. But my heart is really hurting right now, and
Yeah.
I hand you all my vulnerability, and I know that you and Creator have my back and my love. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you so much, Annie.
And thank you for being so beautifully honest and invoking our energy so that we can directly bring it to you and to Sue. So I'm going to sing a little song. Oh, we stand with open hearts. Oh, we stand with open minds. And we dream of all that we can bring to ourselves and to the world. Oh, we open up our hearts, and we know we are on safe ground, and we dream true. Ooh, we hold true to our soul, and it holds us in the world, and we know that our gift is our light. Oh, and we know we are one, in the dream of freedom. We are one in the hope of healing. We are one in the reaching out to the world, and we are one as we reach inside our hearts. There is an infinite love, there is an infinite peace when we gather at the river of our lives. We are one, we are holding up the light, the lantern of dreams, and it brings us home to this. We are whole, and we are strong, and we are open, and we are clear, and we are all that our soul can shine. We are one, and inside our little child dances and plays, and we hold our heart gently as we hold our lives. We are one, and we are free. We are one, and we can see all that we can be when we open up our hearts. We are one, within and without. We are one, and holding the light. We are one, and we are here, hand in hand, heart to heart, and we are free. Oh, free. And it's you, and it's me. It's such a great joy to be with you, because, my friends, every time a song comes through, it's all of us writing that song. I want you to know that. I feel the streams of energy. I want to talk about my process for a minute, because I feel it. It just comes in, and you are co-creators of it. And I want you to remember that. I want you to remember that. It's such a joy. Such a joy. And so we just invite you, as Dottie always does, to take a nice deep breath and breathe it in one last time. Just breathe it in. And allow yourself to be where you are. Where you are. And I just want to offer that when I was, asked by Corky to cover this Sunday, the first thing that came to me, and I don't know why, was the connection between strength and vulnerability. And, how do we stretch our comfort zones, to bring in the great strength that is vulnerability. And as Annie said in her prayer, the strength and vulnerability are so connected. And sometimes we need to create a safe place. We need to create a safe place. And so I'm going to have a discussion with us today. What is your definition of strength and vulnerability? What is the connection? And do we need to create safety to be vulnerable? I call it safety on the run. So when a crisis descends, we have an internal safety bubble in place. We can create a field of safety that allows us to be vulnerable and that also protects us. And sometimes for myself, I find that the very act of being vulnerable is strengthened when I show up and tell the truth. There's an ancient spiritual saying that goes, true human development includes the strength to protect your joy. Includes the strength to protect your joy. And so part of that is calling upon those ancestors and spiritual beings whom we feel a connection to and a safety with can help us open up to be vulnerable. And if we are being triggered about what is in the past, in my opinion, we need to acknowledge it and remind ourselves that we are not experiencing it now. However, we need to pay honor to it. It's important to honor the experiences of trauma and make a promise to take care of the wounded parts who have been activated. It is so important in our spiritual quest to not abandon our tender parts in favor of just supporting another person or a cause or an incident. Our boundaries are important, and our care of ourself is critical to creating safety to be vulnerable. Spontaneous vulnerability is a great moment where we bypass thinking about it and just experience and honor what is true for us. We hold our empathy for ourselves and for others. We honor what is true in this moment and we experience it. And there's a great quote by Alicia Perriot, and it goes, we can only experience the true beauty of vulnerability when we're courageous enough to crack open the fractures in our mask and allow the light to shine in. And I'm just going to read that again. We can only experience the true beauty of vulnerability when we're courageous enough to crack open the fractures in our mask and allow the light to shine in. And for me, it's always a reminder. It's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to be together. Sometimes it can feel really out of control. And I love this quote by Zig Ziglar. And it goes like this. The first to apologize is the bravest. The first to forgive is the strongest. The first to apologize is the bravest. The first to forgive is the strongest. Doesn't it take vulnerability to do that? And, I'm wanting to have a discussion with you. And by the way, I'm reading some of these quotes on my computer because my printer doesn't work. But I know that I can be vulnerable with this group because you're very forgiving and you'll hold me in your loving arms. So I felt like it's a very lucky time that I get to be with each and every one of you. And I love what Brené Brown says too. The courage to be imperfect makes you authentic, and the compassion to be kind to yourself first and to others second. You can't find compassion with others until you find compassion for yourself and fully embrace being vulnerable, right? fully embrace being vulnerable. There's a beautiful quote written by Helen Keller. Character cannot be developed in peace and quiet. Only through experiences of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, vision be cleared, ambition ensured, and success achieved. So she's inviting us, to be vulnerable, to achieve our clear vision, our deepest dreams, and our success. And then Paulo Coelho said, the strongest love is the love that can demonstrate its fragility. The love that can demonstrate its fragility. And it's just, for me, that is just incredible. And Alanis Morissette, I love what she says. I found that the more truthful and vulnerable I was, the more empowering it was for me. And that kind of sums up vulnerability and strength. The more empowering it was for me. And, it's going back to that moment where we make the decision to say, when I'm feeling the most scared is sometimes when I can make the deepest connection to others. Because by being vulnerable, I open up and create that safe place. So I'm going to ask us right now to have a discussion about it, because I think this is so important and so powerful as we enter into our work in the world. As Annie said, many of us around the world are standing up for that unity, for that freedom, for that hope. And how can we do it? So give me your definition of vulnerability. When have you found it in your life? And I'd love to hear what it has been like for you to be vulnerable. Ruth Renat?
Yeah, hi.
Yes,
Okay,
welcome.
I just want to share, and I'm pretty sure this was Lizzo, but people who are really depressed and hating on themselves were saying how much they love Lizzo, and who's a singer, right?
Right.
Just so people know. And she said, well, if you can love me, then you can love yourself.
Wow. That's
So,
beautiful. That's very powerful, because sometimes we don't have the energy to love ourselves, do we?
mhm. But
But
then
if
you
we
can
could,
still love the beautiful things that other people create. And so you say that you love them because of what they created. And she was just like, well, then if you can love me, you can love yourself.
wow,
That's it.
that's
Thank you.
beautiful, Ruth. Thank you.
Somebody
Yes.
else had their hand, or Annie had her hand up.
Annie.
To me, it's going to be an interesting statement, but to me, faith is a vulnerability.
Mm.
Because in order to stand in faith, to be vulnerable enough to trust, and you have to be open to that trust, to know that our Creator is there with us, to know that we have a strength that is so deep within. And so if we don't stand, to me, if I don't stand in a vulnerable spot, how can I ask for help? Whether it be from my beautiful community who are all part of Creator, or be directly Creator within. How do I find that strength if I'm standing in my ego thinking I can do it all?
Mm.
So I really truly believe that having faith is having a vulnerability and a trust. And that's all I can say about that right now.
Thank
Uh,
I see you. I
oh,
see you.
am I there?
Yes. Yes, Joyce C., you are there.
Birthing. Um, 10 years, and I decided to come into the world in a body that was leaving the original soul. And I seldom talk about it, but today seemed to be the day to talk about vulnerability and love. And I chose to come in, and I came into the past with the woman called Louise King Brown, the mother. And up until I was 24, I never felt love, and I was always feeling vulnerable. And then at the age of 24, I got my strength. I realized it was okay for me to love someone who did not love me, that it was okay. But the question was, how did I feel about myself? That was the key that gave me strength. And I realized that I actually, not only did I love me, but I had respect for me. That I had embarked on this incredible journey. And I have felt that ever since 1974. I have felt that about myself. And I just wanted to share that because that was one heck of a journey. And by the way, the mother, before she went deeper into the light, some years after she had transitioned, asked me to forgive her. And I let her know that I had forgiven her way back. But I thanked her for asking.
Yeah.
Because you see, I didn't carry it. I didn't keep it. I didn't go, woe is me and why me and all these kinds of things. So when I share something, it is to let you know that changes do come when we are open to it, or we take the initiative instead of waiting for someone else, that we take the initiative. At least I took the initiative for Joyce C. Brown. And I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you so much, Joyce. And you said it very well. It is a conscious choice we
Yes.
sometimes have to make, even through great trial and great pain.
Mhm.
Right. And so, how do we create safety? Because my experience is I need to create safety for vulnerability to be there. And that's where some of my strength can come, is sometimes we don't always have the perfect, complete safety.
No.
Songbird.
Hi there, everyone. Can
Hey,
you hear me?
welcome. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get my camera to face me or something. I'm upside down and facing the ceiling. Okay. Ta-da! Good. Okay. Um, yeah, so I think I just want to, reiterate about the safety is essential, and I have experienced a lot of I love this community. I want to, because I feel there's a real walking the walk and a real heartedness and connectedness right here. It's an unusual area. I've experienced a lot of power over dynamics where it's not safe to be vulnerable. Like, for example, I have a boss and he's kind of narcissistic, and he uses what I share with him to try and, like he wants to do therapy with me, and, it's inappropriate, because he's my boss, and tries to use information and try and get into me and make something a process. An example of that is my legal name has the inner meaning of protective, and I am very protective. That's my MO. And I had asked to join a meeting, with a client, and he came in, he said, I didn't like your tone in asking. Were you trying to protect the client? And like that kind of stuff. So that's just an example of how, somebody might come in trying to manipulate. And what was really, is they hadn't even informed the client that the thing was going to happen at 2:30 in the afternoon, and it wasn't on the board. So that has been very challenging for me to retain my center and set boundaries and, figure out how to maneuver in this power over stuff that keeps, going on in the world. So, you know, I, I do, I do still use vulnerability, but I also use shields.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to say that it's been very challenging for me to deal with that kind of dynamic, and I've had a lot of it.
Yeah.
So,
And that is
yeah.
hard. I want to acknowledge the hardness of that songbird and also what you brought up in terms of protection and boundaries.
Hmm.
That was the next thing I was going to talk about, actually. So it's perfect that you brought that up. It's like we have to have vulnerability, but we also have to have boundaries with it. We can't just be indiscriminately vulnerable with everything and everybody.
Well, that gets people won't take it. Ruth had her hand up.
Ruth.
Ruth, wherefore art thou, Ruth? Where'd you go? There she is. Ruth. Thank you,
I don't know
Songbird,
where she went.
for being vulnerable
Yeah.
and your comments.
Yeah.
I
You know
can see
that.
she made a post in the chat, so maybe she had.
Yes. And maybe she,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
she
was
was saying, and in the chat she said there's also a song by Neo called "Let Me Love You Until You Can Love Yourself," which is also powerful because we are all worthy of love and belonging, just like Eeyore, our favorite depressed character.
That's right. And
Thank you.
Eeyore is a beautiful example because Eeyore is himself. He's expressing honestly what he's going through, right? Eeyore is that's a beautiful example, Ruth Renata, because it is so true. Sometimes we need someone to hold the energy of love for us until we can get the strength up to love ourselves, especially after, a traumatic incident or, a state of being that makes it really difficult for us to love ourselves. That's what this group does so beautifully is we accept you wherever you are, and just as Songbird said, she appreciates this community because we're going to hear the injustice and we're going to empathize and we're going to give and lend strength to it. That is so huge, my friends. That is so huge. Each and every one of you, you know, just brings that. So, how can we create safety? Let's talk about that. How can we create safety for
So,
ourselves, for each other?
so when I talk about my Ebert, one of the things that I when I do some of the hypnosis part of it, and say that see yourself as in a it's kind of like a Doctor Who thing, which I've never even watched Doctor Who, but it's the flying phone booth. and
Right, TARDIS.
Is
That's
that what?
TARDIS. Yeah, that's TARDIS. Yeah.
But just see yourself as I like to see myself as a protector, and just I want people to feel comfortable and safe when they're around me,
Yeah.
and so that they can be as strong as they need to be, to that. But anyway, the point is that see, and with the pin cushion, how you just expand yourself out like a when you start putting the pins in the pin cushion, it looks like it's got longer arms and stuff. Anyway, so but the so the phone booth thing is that you're safe, you're surrounded, you're safe, and you just put as many people in there as you can, that are comfortable with the environment and the situation, or just one at a time, or however it works for you, and and it's a I visualize a lot, that this is because that's energy, and it's real. When you put your thoughts out, that's something that's really happening. So, and vulnerable people need to be. I mean, we all need to be protected. We're all sensitives, and so we need. We can be tough to the environment, to the things that need us to be tough, but there's the wounded healer and all that kind of stuff. You have to be careful of and take care of yourself. And if you can, and draw on the people here to help protect you, because we will do that. I'm speaking for all of you. I hope you all agree. I expect you all to agree, but
You're
Anyway,
doing a beautiful job because being vulnerable is really being true to yourself, which can lead to a stronger sense of identity and self worth and allows you to let go of the masks or project an image that's not genuine,
yeah.
right? And you know that's I'll be honest with you, that's been difficult for me. It's like when I'm feeling vulnerable, it's hard sometimes. And I can think of many times I've come into this community and to the greater UCM community almost in tears. And I've said, can I sing a song? Can I be vulnerable? And you all accept me with open arms. I can't tell you what comfort that has given me over the years. What you have given me is that permission to be myself, even though I don't have all the answers. I don't even know what's going on sometimes, but it allows me to be true to that through line that is me. So I want to thank you for that. If that's what we can do for each other, this is amazing, my friends. What else? What else do we need to be vulnerable and strong in our vulnerability? Tell me some more experiences. These are incredible.
Help.
There we go. Ah, Joyce C. Yes. Patty B.
I think
Go.
Steve had something to say, and then I can talk after him.
Who? Well, it must
Go
be.
go ahead, Patty. And
Let's say it must be Stephen because he's.
Okay, we've got Patty and Steven, so this is wonderful. Go, Patty.
Well, I I've been sitting here and kind of pondering, doing my deep thinking about, okay, what is vulnerable? What does it actually mean, and where do we put ourselves? And I think that for me to be vulnerable and to really truly be yourself, you're also subjecting yourself to the possibility of judgment. And I think that's probably a huge block for being.
100%.
I mean, it's like, what is the definition of vulnerability? It's like, it's just it's just putting yourself out there, and then it kind of circles back to what everybody else has been saying. You need to have a really deep sense and strength of who you are, so that even if you are being judged, it doesn't affect you. Now, to me, that's a huge order. That's a really tall order. But I think that it also speaks to the depth that we have of possibilities of how we can become that strength within ourselves. So that if we are vulnerable, no matter who we're being vulnerable around, we can go away feeling good about ourselves, no matter what the reaction may be. So,
Beautifully said.
Mhm.
Beautifully said. And you're right, it is a risk.
It is huge.
Thank you. It's a huge risk, Patty. Yes.
And I think that's, that kind of comes back to what, I don't know who it was who said it, but that is the exceptional aspect of CCL and UCM and, our Monday night group, that people, they just sort of accept you for who you are, and that's huge. That's a really huge opening on this planet, as far as I'm concerned, because you don't find that in very many places.
No.
In group dynamics.
Right.
So
it's very precious, isn't it?
Yeah, it
Patty?
is.
It's very precious. Yeah.
It's almost like this planting the seed in
Mhm.
fertile ground that's supporting you. That's what, as a group, we can give to one another by just accepting each other for who we are. There's going to be variations. There's going to be differences. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. But can we accept each other for who we are?
That's it.
Yeah.
And that radical acceptance
Yeah.
is what's going to get us through. Yeah. Beautiful. Stephen.
yeah, I learned a lot when I got a voice coach. And and this just ties in with what everybody's saying. And I think it works with any form of communication, whether it's singing or speaking or sign language or painting, drawing, graffiti. it's all about, there's nothing between you and whoever receives that. There's nothing. Anytime you communicate, you are basically naked in front of whoever you're talking to. No matter how you're talking, there's nothing between you. And if you think about an opera singer, they're filling this huge space with these two little tiny things called vocal cords that are like right about here. They're filling this space with basically nothing except their wanting to communicate. And that's tough, but
Yeah.
people do it, and we do it all the time. So, okay, and I see Arlene had her hand up.
Arlene, and then we have Songbird. Beautiful. Arlene, unmute, honey. Can you? Beautiful.
I think we had Songbird first.
You go first because
Oh,
Songbird
okay.
had a time, and then we'll
Okay.
do Songbird.
Okay. I just, you're talking about the risk factor, and I really want to thank Patty for bringing that up because, of course, it's critical and it's the thing that stops a lot of honest communication because that fear is so strong. What I have used over the years is, and I have real attraction to crystals and stones and other things of the earth. So, the crystals are what come to me mostly. And so I have thought of myself when I'm going into situations, and I used to do this even when I was doing hospice work. When I'm going into a situation and I know that I have to be open, and the situation might even be a little dangerous for that, but I still need to be open to be of service and to do the work. I may use the white light, the divine light, for protection from physical harm, but I try to coat myself. I would stop in my car and coat myself with beautiful rose quartz light around me before I walked in, because it's a light of compassion and also self-love, so that I can protect myself and allow my love to come out when necessary, but I don't have to let in anything that's going to be harmful to me. And so I don't know if that's a good image for anybody else, but it's just what's worked for me in the past.
I have to share, Arlene. I mean, I don't mean to interrupt, but that's exactly what I do. When I go to respond to a critical incident, I do exactly the same thing, and I put like a midnight blue, sometimes energy around me for extra protection, and then I'll also sometimes use violet energy, the purple energy, but I use that rose so that I come from that rose pink. I come from that beautiful place in my heart. So thank you, beautiful. Songbird, and then Ruth Renata. This is just amazing, the wisdom.
Yeah.
Woohoo! There you are.
So, I was just wanted to comment on listening when we were talking about what is necessary for vulnerability is that deep listening. And I was given as my task for Ramadan this year, I tested with the helpers, or my helpers, and it was received that I was just to sit back and be quiet, kind of have that presence. And so that was my task. And so I think that's necessary for the vulnerability is a true listening. And I just feel that that's also, I want to acknowledge that's something we have in this community. And I wanted to say to Janet, I keep passing the things you taught me on, I abundantly. I'm always teaching acknowledge, express, act, reconnect. I'm teaching all of it. So like there's a ripple effect in what we do. It goes out into the world, even if it looks like, it doesn't seem like a lot. I think it really is. And there's no way to know it, but I'm sure it's happening.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And that's the biggest gift we can give to each other is the gift of listening. So thank you for emphasizing that. Ruth Renata.
Just wanted to mention discernment in when and how to be vulnerable, because not everyone is in a space to accept our vulnerability. Or to accept whatever stories we're going to tell. Not everyone needs to know our story.
That's right.
So, you know, there's this aspect of discernment, because some people, you can be your authentic self without telling people personal things who aren't, it's going to sound bad to say it this way, but who aren't worthy of hearing those personal things, you know, because not everyone is going to be for you. There are some people, you could be perfectly healed and you can say something, you know, a vulnerable personal thing about yourself, and that person will, because of their unhealed state, or wherever it is that they are at, will take it negatively, or, you know, say shit about you, say things about you. Sorry. And you know, so I do think discernment is a part of it, and that's just being wise. That, right? It's not necessarily coming from a place of fear, because I do think we sometimes think that acting with measures of caution or discernment means we're acting in fear, which is really silly, because I'm not afraid of germs, but I sure wash my hands every day, you know? Wash my hands after I go to the bathroom, right? It's not fear that I do that, just you wash your hands. Anyway, that's just being smart, right?
It's
And
being
so,
smart. And you
yeah,
use the right word, Ruth. I don't mean to interrupt you, but you use the right word. Discernment is key. Like there's an old biblical saying, do not throw your pearls before swine. It's not that swine are bad, and it's not that pearls are good. It's that the swine will not appreciate the pearls. And so what you're talking about
yes.
is brilliant discernment about where and when and how we can be vulnerable, you know, that best serves not only us, but the people we're with. I 100% agree. I was hoping we would get to that. Annie.
Well, this talk about discernment within vulnerability, and also we brought up boundaries.
Right.
So if we talk about vulnerability being root of finding our strengths, isn't that what ties it together?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in a vulnerable state, but you feel that you're not ready to share yet because of your discernment of your audience or your boundary that this is not an appropriate thing to be sharing, that is a strength. Is it not?
Yes.
Is
Yes.
that not a part of what brings
Yes.
us?
Absolutely. And I'm going to go right back to what Stephen wrote in the chat, which is sometimes we need to protect ourselves from danger. You know, I mean, sometimes we really have to scope it out. And I'm going to be honest with all of you. There have been times where I haven't listened to the danger monitor, and I've spilled the beans and it's not worked out well. So, absolutely, 100%. It's all about boundaries, because in being vulnerable within those boundaries, we're doing the best to honor ourselves. And in fact, my friends, that's what the strength of vulnerability is honoring our own truth about it at any given moment in time, and how we can do it in the best way that also takes care of us. Yeah.
Oh, good one.
Thank you. That's just incredible. I mean, the wisdom that all of you have brought. Arlene, unmute, my dear. Unmute.
Sorry, just one
There we
image
go.
came really fast that I had to share, is that basically what we all need to do is go back to being babies,
Yes.
trying to take that first darn step and standing and being shaky and not able to do it, and yet falling down and getting back up. And when you get back up, you see that crow come out of that little kid's face, like, look, because they've gained strength, but they had to have the vulnerable stage first. So, that's where the strength, that Annie was talking about, it shows up at a very early age and in the most simplistic way possible. You have to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So that's
Beautiful.
all.
Good
And to
point.
treat us like the most tender, vulnerable child who's learning how to walk,
Yeah.
right? Being kind to ourselves is a huge part of it, my friends. And Stephen, what you wrote about wise as serpents and gentle as doves, is that right? Yeah. Yeah. And that's the balance we need. And we as a community, my friends, can build that for and with each other. With every time we gather, with every time we show up and tell the truth, with every time we come and are bonded together in this moment. There is such power in that vulnerability and power in that strength of safety. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I just can't thank you enough. My heart is so full. I mean, I am just so honored, each and every one of you, for showing up with your true selves and your deep selves and your heartfelt vulnerability.
Janet, I want to thank you so much. I mean, you guys, I asked Janet, what, a couple of days ago to step in, and she, as usual, is, very generous to do that. And I appreciate it very much. And it's always, always nice to have you talking to us. And I
Oh, it's my
love
honor.
you, and
I love you. And I want to remind people, my friends, I want to remind you all to pay CCL.
oh,
Put in your ducats, my friends.
um,
We need to put in our ducats
thank you.
and support this community.
PayPal is Dottie, Safe Dottie. I can't even spell it. At AOL.com.
Yep.
Ta-da! Did I
Yep.
spell that right? Yay!
And I wish for each of you, join Joan for May 24th, Brigadoon. It's it's very uplifting. You will
It'd be
love it.
be
You will
nice.
enjoy it.
Be nice to be able to go to that.
Yes.
Yes,
And
it'd be fun.
absolutely. And I'm going to give you all homework. This has been a very deep conversation, and I want you to do something gentle with your heart. Okay? Just gentle. And thank you, Sky. Yes. Love you, Mama Boone. Dottie needs to hear that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want each of you, and we'll be with you, Annie, in Seattle with Sue. And so each of you, be very gentle with your heart. And I want you to do something fun and lighthearted. Today has been, a moment. And so each of you, please do that